Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Sheikh.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, my dear brother?
Fine. What about you?
Fine, thank you, thank you. Say something, yeah, in English. We want to listen English from your mouth, please.
Listen, like what?
About everything which is related to your needed interest side.
Well, I found interest in many things. Interest that is a thing which can arises abruptly. Well, I found interest first in English. Well, how can I learn to speak with a perfect glibness? So then I started my journey to to acquire my pursuit. That's why many people advised me, you have to study a lot, you have to read a lot, you have to listen a lot. But what I've reaped from my own experiences, that is, whenever you are trying to listen or whenever you are trying to learn a language, so the first and foremost thing that is listening. You know, like take the example of your mother tongue, your innately or your mother tongue. When we were children, nobody gave us a book that you should study Pashto, you will learn Pashto, you should read these phrases, you will learn this. But we just listen. We listen. We listen a lot, and from that listening, we acquire the language. The first one is acquiring a language. The second is learning a language. The acquiring or the acquisition, that is far greater than the learning. So the first thing for learning is to listen a lot of material, to listen English dramas, but the most important thing that you have to take a native speaker. Like for example, there is a Pathan who is speaking English, who will speak in a rigid manner. So you will learn from that Pathan or that whatever he is, but he is a non-native. But the manner he is trying to give you, you will acquire that manner which he has. So that's why you have to take a native speaker and then try to imitate him. Like you have to imitate for 1 hour, for 2 hours. So that's how you will build your own language and your own glibness fluency. That's that.
Tell your life story. We want to listen something from your life, please.
Well, like
Yes,
what sort of story?
Story.
Yeah, well, I don't have a lot of stories, but I was having a dream when I was a child that I want to become a pilot. But for having an impoverished background, that wouldn't that wouldn't impossible. Nobody gave me any advice that how can you acquire this thing. Or the first and foremost thing, that you have some sort of elders who are well learned and who are nourished people that can give you a way, a path through which you can acquire your dream. But I didn't have any person like that. So I got lost. But then I think in 2017 or 18, before that I visited Oman, and I tried to build a future of my own, but that wasn't possible, because the expat life, expat mean the person who is living abroad. The expat's life I experienced, that's the most difficult one. That's the most bereft feeling I've ever seen. So then I came back and I started another journey, and I take admission in BS, and now alhamdulillah I'm feeling good and very comfortable with my own field. I'm trying to make my future, but inshallah.
What do you want to become in your future?
Well, I want to become a CSS officer.
Why do you want to become a thesis officer?
That's good for the society. I want to do good for society, because good are two types. Whenever you don't have any sources, your good will be terminated to your own body, your own, whatever your physical approaches are, the good will be terminated to that. But whenever you have lots of sources, you can do good to a lot of people. Even in a remote area where you don't have access, you can do good to them. So that's why I want to become a CSS officer, in order to, the first thing, in order to feel good. The life is, it's just feeling. For example, why people commit suicide? Because they aren't feeling good. Like, take the example of a recent person from India who committed suicide. I don't know his name, but I think he was a star of Bollywood, I think. So that because of feeling. So the first thing, I want to make my feeling good, because the the suffering I've seen in my life, I want to remove those thoughts from my memory, and that's not possible without achieving my goal.
Do you have anyone special in your life?
Well, I have my mother, and the second, my parents.
Yes, I know. But extra, just like the stop me.
No, currently I don't have.
You don't have?
Currently, maybe in the future I have.
Which type of people do you like? And this time also you were waiting for the future that you will be selected.
I like I like people who are funny.
Funny people.
Yeah,
So your wife should be funny?
should be or would be, I don't know, but inshallah she will be.
Would be?
Inshallah,
Would be or should be?
she should be.
Should be.
But that's that is the game of luck.
Which type of girl do you like? In your life, not another girl.
I mean, in my life,
In your life.
well, that's a
In
difficult
your
question.
selection that you
Or
are
selection.
electing your internally side. If you are electing in your internally side, but someone selecting.
You know,
Which type of girl do you want in your life?
if I want to marry a girl, I want to marry her before my job. There is a reason behind that. The reason is that because, for example, whenever you have a job, no one can deny your proposal. Whenever you propose a girl and you have a job, and I'm cocksure that she will accept your proposal. That's because of job. She's not accepting you, she is accepting your job. So my wish is that I want to marry a girl before my job. After the job, that won't be possible because she will marry my job, not me. So, and the sort of girl I want in my life, that is simple, funny, and respectable, and loving, caring. That's the most qualities.
Would you want to say something about modesty?
Modesty. Well, that's the core feature of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. No, sorry, Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Now, he was so modest. He was so modest that even Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says about him that he is the most modest person in Islamic world. So I don't know much about the history, but I know that he is the most modest person. So because of his modesty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the most respected place in the history of the world, and as well as the history of Islam. So modesty
What
is.
is Islam?
So Islam, it is taken from a root word salam, which means peace, and it also means that submitting your will to God. But when you combine those two meanings, it becomes submitting your will to the Allah Almighty, so you can achieve peace, tranquility.
In Islam.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Next, what?
Why you are wearing black dress?
Because the other ones were dirty, so that's why it was the only clean dress. So I
Because
wore.
during sunlight, it will harm. You.
When it becomes compulsion, you have to wear it. Yeah, because I don't have any other suits, so the other were dirty.
Is this your choice or someone's choice?
No,
that you are wearing?
it's my choice.
But the words of Torah, black, is related to your life.
No, that's not related to my life. The black is there is you're driving me to a topic that's called racism. The color, there is no superiority of color, or there is discrimination. That's called discrimination. The people gave too much respect, priority to the white people.
Wait.
That has caused a lot of suffering for the black people. Recently I was watching a video. There was a girl, I think she was probably 8 years or 7 years old. She was crying at why we are being treated so differently from the white people. That's because of our color. So she has no hand in her color. Because she hasn't created her color, sorry. That's the choice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah made her like that. I am a black person. I mean, for example, if you are treating me on the best of my color, that is not just. You know, that's giving me pangs. You're destroying me. You're sabotaging me insidely. So that's why black is black.
Like,
Yeah, and there is a quotation of the president of Zimbabwe. You have to watch it. That's too much. I mean, that's a sort of slang or vulgar. I cannot explain it in front of you or in front of camera because lots of people are watching. So that's why you should read that. I mean, whatever he said, that comment about the racism. You will come and you will fathom what is racism.
it's all is related to the creator, the gifts of creator.
Yeah,
Means
that's
that God is our lamp and the sky is our candle.
yep.
Okay?
And he created black and white. There must be a reason behind that. Well, I don't know what's the reason, but there must be a reason why that person is black, why this one is white. But that's just,
Do you like poetry, Mr. Shehriar?
well, currently I just like parrots. You can ask me about parrots.
But do you like my poetry or not?
Yeah, your poetry I'm fond of because you're reflecting the society. You're depicting the current scenario. Like for example, the people who are, I mean, who are writing fairy tales, Starageo, Zulfeo, but that's not your poetry. Your poetry reflecting, that's the imitation of the real life. Whatever you see in society, you reflects that. So that's why viewers, anyone who is watching, please, I want to recommend that poetry. You should listen to the poetry of Nisar Jan and you should feel the spirit inside that poetry. That's too much, I mean, fascinating, staggering. You will find it quite suitable.
Thank you, Mr. Shehriar. Just claiming for Mr. Shehriar.